Welcome back. You're still watching SA Today. Now, although the 21-day lockdown is aimed at preventing the further spread of COVID-19 and ensuring that we remain physically well during the social distancing, our mental and social well-being should not be neglected. Speaking to us via Skype now is Zerilda De Kock, who's a final-year occupational therapy student at Wits University and also a member of the Occupational Therapy Association of South Africa. Zerilda, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program. Occupational therapy. I remember my daughter used to go for this when she was a toddler. And I just wonder, in the context of COVID-19, what are the concerns of an occupational therapist about people at home?
Okay, that's a great question. So, OT isn't something that a lot of people are familiar with, but basically what OTs do is they enable participation in everyday activities. So, for us, currently, our environment has changed a little bit. So, we can't participate in the way that we used to. We can't go to work, we can't go to school, we can't see our friends. So this means that the influence of our context and environment has changed. So for an OT, it's very important for us to help people adapt to these changes and still carry on participating in their everyday activities.
All right, let's talk about what might happen if we just cocoon and not try and do things. What happens to our well-being?
So, like you said, health is not only physical, it is social and it is mental. And what we start seeing is something that we refer to as occupational deprivation. So, this is when the opportunity to engage in and to participate is kind of taken away. And we see this because the law kind of doesn't let us participate in the way that we used to. And then occupational deprivation kind of results in things that could, in a prolonged setting, have an impact on our physical and our mental health. So this means currently, like the impact that we are seeing is disturbances in people's mood, disturbances in motivation, because a lot of us are sitting at home and waiting for the lockdown to be over instead of kind of doing what we're used to doing.
And is this heightened for children who are normally quite hyperactive anyway?
Well, I think it is because kids right now would be at school. I mean, school holidays are supposed to be over, and now home is boring if you're home the whole time, and us as adults are feeling it. So for children, it's the same.
All right, so then what would you advise people to do to kind of normalize an abnormal situation?
So for us currently, there's a lot in the situation that is not in our control. But what we can do is change the things to ensure that we stay mentally well and socially well in this time. So this means simple things like having a basic routine. And this doesn't mean like set out time 8 to 9, I'm going to do this, but kind of have a set time you wake up, a set time you go to bed, set aside times to do leisure activities, set aside times to be productive, set times to clean your house, and kind of make sure that you're doing what you'd usually be doing. So brush your teeth, take a shower, those kind of things, yeah.
I believe that routines are really important for children in particular.
Yes, they are. I think it's important for all of us, and it does give us a sense of normalcy in a time where there is a lot of uncertainty.
All right, but how do you manage having the same people in your face 24 hours a day for a prolonged period of time?
I think that's something that is quite difficult, but there is ways of coping that we just need to adjust a little bit. And this means doing activities by yourself, whether it is something that is more leisure driven, like reading or I don't know, TV. So it is definitely difficult being at home with the same people all the time.
So I would imagine then scheduling some alone time is actually quite important, where you get away from the family unit, whether it's sitting in your bedroom or perhaps out in the garden by yourself, just to be on your own.
Yes, it is, but also for people who are on the other side of the spectrum where they are alone or staying alone, it's important to kind of schedule the time to be social, whether this is phoning a friend or video calling a family member and so on.
All right, and I suppose doing things together, playing games and that kind of thing during leisure time is also beneficial.
It is also, I think, there is also a mindset change that could happen. We could see the lockdown as kind of an opportunity to improve our relationships in the home, an opportunity to bond, an opportunity for us also to improve skills which we could do at home
All right, and
instead of just waiting for it to be over.
some relationships might take strain though during this period of time.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So, what as someone is that you're an OT and people will kind of ask you for advice and talk about some of the things they're challenged with. What are the most things that you're hearing from people that they're struggling with during this time?
So I've definitely made some observations like within my friend group and with my family, and the impact has had the lockdown has had an impact on their wellness, and this is because we are in uncharted territory. We don't know what's going to happen next, but also people who are used to being busy, people who are only at home in the evenings, people who are very social or are busy with work or university, it kind of takes you out of your
Yeah.
elements a little bit. And you kind of like, what now? There's like mood, people are experiencing like the impact on their mood. A lot of people are feeling quite anxious and quite down, as well as a lack of motivation.
Yeah.
So even though there are things to do, you're just not doing them because you're not motivated to.
All right. And I just wonder also, naturally, screen time is going to go through the roof during a period like this. This also must be a concern.
Yeah, so for us, like if I say leisure, many of us kind of spend our leisure time on our cell phones or in front of the TV, and it's very easy to kind of open Instagram and be on Instagram for hours and not do anything else. And that's why it is kind of important to schedule time to do other things and kind of explore other leisure activities that don't necessarily need a screen.
All right, perhaps in conclusion, just give us 3 or 4 tips of how we can be better.
So, like I said, scheduling like a basic routine. So having a time that you go to sleep, like a set bedtime, a set wake up time, kind of set aside. So like what I do is my mornings are my productive time and my afternoons are kind of more leisure time, and making sure that you kind of do things to look after yourself. So shower daily, change your clothing, brush your teeth, make sure that your environment is tidy. So do your chores. The best that we can do right now is kind of control what we can in the situation and adapt to the best of our abilities. And if someone is struggling with that, OTs are doing telehealth consultations. So people are able to kind of seek out the advice and seek out help.
Zerilda De Kock, thanks very much indeed for those insights, and let's hope people take heed and wash every day and brush their teeth. That would be really nice. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, so there you
So
have
if
it.
people do,
If you're at home and it is a difficult time, your routines are certainly abnormal now, but try and normalize them somehow. Routines seem to be quite important advice that we're getting there. And schedule connecting with other people using the technology that's available, calling someone and just chatting. So try and do this, and this will be good for you.